Hi, everyone. Well, it's a pretty amazing day, what is occurring here anyway. To me, it feels like we're going through quite massive calibration and super big time glitches. So I had this moment where I looked at the clock the clock on my iPad, and I saw that it was, I wrote it down actually. I saw that it was 10:22, and I swear I glanced back like about a minute later and it said 10:33. So, and then that's happened again. And so, yeah, big time glitches going on today. But I really wanted to speak to you about a couple of things. I'm just trying to move into that space. And that we're in this really massive recalibration experience. So the visual that showed up for that is, those toys that sit on a peg with a spring on the bottom, and they get pushed and then they bounce, but they vibrate through on the spring until they come to a still point. I feel that's the kind of experience that we're having today. But also what I saw in the collective of the planet was this very strong spiking energy. And it's that, if you think about a lightning bolt, it shows up like that. And it showed up on, when did I do that? Saturday evening. I was taking part in a meditation, and that's what showed up to me, was this sort of spiking energy for the collective. Now, that spiking energy is doing a number of things. It's creating chaos, it's creating instability, but it's also evoking change. And it's the kind of energy that can't be ignored. So bringing things up, making people react or respond, of course, which is the higher option. But it's this shaking things up for humanity, for the way in which they view things, and for how they are perceiving their own bodies. So a lot of stuff coming up. So for me, I have been a bit like I'm still in my gym gear. And so when I woke this morning, I intended to get changed before before I came, and then I've been back and forth with phone calls trying to arrange. Well, some of my family are coming up and wanting to go and visit, and so some of them are coming here to stay, but we're going to visit my son, and trying to arrange this sort of this get together for my son and his partner and my family who are coming up, has been just it seems like a ridiculous number of phone calls. Anyway, and then I suddenly realized that it was 11:11. So here I am. Sorry. Sorry. But anyway, I'm here, and hello, Carolyn. Hi. So yeah, it's this kind of weird glitchy energy at the moment, and yet it's this, I don't know, this sort of, I want to say poetic. It's this evocation. That's what I want to say, with a French accent. It's this evocation that we're being evoked to come into our higher, and so there's a lot coming up for us to experience. And then these time glitches. So we're sort of leaping and jumping around, and I guess that is in sync with my ridiculous circuitry with phone calls. So this it showed up, this energy. So think about a fork of lightning, or a lightning fork, but it's lying horizontally, and that's how the energetic of the collective showed up on Saturday evening when I tuned in. When I tuned in at some point on Saturday. Hello, sweet CC. Aloha. Yeah, so that to me was this blue and a silvery blue. It showed up as a silvery blue, if that's meaningful to you. And it's This is the energy, I wrote, that creates cracking, opening, piercing of the old across the board. And so even for me, like I've experienced a whole heap of emotions, and it's only midday. So it's only the mid-morning. I mean, it's only mid-morning. So, oh yeah, I'll read that, what Carolyn's just written in the set. Yeah, so for me, I awoke and I have, oh, I'll just talk about this a bit. A number of years ago, a psychic friend of mine, he and I were chatting about how there's this, what would you call it? This misperception of the spiritual community that they don't have to take care of their physical bodies, that everything is in the spiritual, but it's crucial that we take care of our physical bodies. It's crucial that we are, being in awareness with not just with diet, but with exercise, with movement of the body, with exercising the body. And that we felt that was something that needed to have more attention from the spiritual community. Anyway, that's why it's not the only reason. Like what am I talking about? You see, here I am. I'm just moving all over the place. So I pay and I go to a personal training session, and I do that for 3 half-hour sessions a week to make sure that I go, because I I love doing it, but it can be easy for me to not go. So I make that commitment and then I go. But this morning I woke up and my head was full of electrical energy. So I said to my trainer, let's just go for a walk, because I felt like I really needed to get myself out on so we walked the sand dunes in the park. And yeah, lots of tuis. I love the tuis singing to me from the moment I stepped out the door. And yeah, all this electrical energy in my head. So that's one thing. I don't know whether that's your experience, but that was my experience. So yeah, very strong it was as well. And then this idea that showed up about this, this toy with the spring going, blah, 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 blah. That's the kind of recalibration that we're having. Yeah, so it is unsettling and causes consternation and stirring, as it is meant to evoke change. Think the lotus bud poking up through the mud, or the mangrove plant on the mud flats. That's the imagery I was showing. And also a lot of grief will be released through this time. So that's the other thing. I've cried this morning as well, and I actually don't know why. And it wasn't lots of tears, but I had a few tears. I felt emotional, and then I had some pain in my heart, like a pain that was like a line. It just came, and I put my hand to feel where it was, and then it went again. So we're going through quite a lot all at the same time. But yeah, I've been shown that the energy that's coming is to release from the deepest layers. And the calling to and of the ancient woundings are coming to the surface to be released. So you may or may not know what they are, but see what you get. But that's, there's recalibration going on in the physical, tangible world and body today. And we are going to come into, it's this endless cycle at the moment, but it's fabulous, this higher vibration as a result. Okay, so I'll read what's on here in the chat. A full breakdown yesterday on Sunday, Carolyn was saying, her and her DM, of everything in the morning, which led to a coming back together in the afternoon. So isn't that significant? Because that's very, very quick. And this is our time at the moment. It's spinning so fast. She just wrote a post about our body being our consciousness and our subconscious. Yes, that's right. That's what we're coming to, isn't it? This coming into the higher, this letting go of the lower mind. Sweet CC, clearing, yawning, right ear popping, non-stop Saturday, better today. I clean house, thankfully. My work keeps me active, been feeling the need to clean up the extra candles and glasses of wine happening often. Body awareness now. I think that might be the end of it. Yeah, there's that is here as well, isn't there? This sense of clearing out, cleaning out, decluttering, getting rid of what is no longer required. Yeah, so I have some questions for you to contemplate. These came through. What is your ultimate fulfillment? Yeah, and what aches within to assist you in meeting your deepest wishes and desires? And I always remember this a spiritual teacher in my life, Helen Barnes, and she used to have this beautiful saying where she would say, what would love do? What would love answer there? What would love say? And so if you're ever in a dilemma or wanting to seek a different answer, I think that's a beautiful inquiry. And I feel that that's a really beautiful inquiry for this experience that we're going through today. So what would love do here? How would love answer this query, this situation, this moment? And then do that so you can come into this more peace and greater joy and more fun and greater ease, because it's this continual seeking. So we're going deeper in order to go higher, which that that's what we're doing. And it's like by seeking some of that through coming into balance and equilibrium, and then seeking what brings joy, what brings fun, what brings ease, what brings fulfillment. So we're continuously seeking and coming into the higher. I had this interesting information that came on in the meditation on Saturday night. So I was, what did I see? It was kind of bitsy for me, but what came was two words that one was a brand new word, and the other was a word that I knew, but I didn't know the meaning of it. So just excuse me, because I will get it up and then I can read it to you. Okay. That's annoying. I can't see the icon. So first of all, the little bits that I saw were that I saw a deer, and the deer was very still, and it was standing outside of a huge forest, and it looked me in the eyes. And so this was the deer is this representation of gentleness, but the two key words that came, hold on, I've got it open. I'm now just looking for the page where I wrote it, because this was with some people that I was in the meditation with. It's a really powerful group of women who gather, and I'm very blessed to be invited. So yeah, then I got given this word. Oh, so yes, so now I'll. Okay, so here it is where I've written it. yeah, so I'll tell you what I saw. So it was like I was standing on this spot, or this day that represented the solstice, the full moon, and I saw what can only be described as looking like a giant fan made of white feathers, and I saw that landed like on top of me on the solstice, and I asked what that represented, and it represented illumination, and it was a couple of meters high and about a meter wide, and then I as I'm watching, this is the visual that's unfolding, is that is coming in every day. There's one of those dropping in for every day on the calendar, and I saw this continuing, and I heard that this will continue until the Lionsgate. Well, the Lionsgate, the sort of official day of the Lionsgate is the 8th of August. And so then I'm watching this form, and I see that it begins to kind of merge a little bit. It comes into the shape of a tunnel or a portal, and then I see that there's an opening in it. And so this is this tunnel, this portal, and it's an opening. And I ask, and I'm told it's for the collective, and I'm told it's the Antakarana Bridge. So that is definitely a word that I had heard, but I didn't know what it meant. And so I looked it up, and this is the definition. So the Antakarana is conceptualized as a bridge that facilitates communication or connection between the personality or the lower self, operating through the physical, emotional, and mental bodies, and the soul, the higher self, and then ultimately with the monad or the divine spark within. So I was shown how I read. What I was shown is that the collective is moving into this bridge, this tunnel, from the solstice to the Lion's Gate, where they are coming into that higher consciousness, into that higher mind. And then I hear, as that's all sort of pieced in my head, I hear, and then the Leonids come. And I'm like, the Leonids. Okay, well, what are the Leonids? And I'm shown this imagery of like stones or pebbles kind of moving through space, coming to Earth. And so I knew that was to do with wisdom and information coming. Anyway, I looked that up. Nobody had heard of that word. And that is this. It's an astronomy term, and it relates to a shower of meteors occurring around November the 15th and appearing to radiate from a point in the constellation of Leo. And so, this is the world of working with spirit, isn't it? Is that I have learned to trust what these things are that I'm given, because they have merit, they have meaning, they have value. Okay, so now I'm back here where I can see the screen again. And, I've got all this sort of nervous energy running through me today. I feel a bit wobbly in my voice even. It's this energy that's rising from within, which is this, it's like a nervousness. Of that, how you get sometimes when you feel cold, it's like that. Although I don't think that I'm cold. But yeah, that. So to me, it's showing us that there's this movement that's coming in for the collective of humanity to be coming into that higher consciousness through that time. And so that's quite an interesting bit. And, time's a pretty elusive thing, isn't it? And we know that we're removing ourselves from the constructs of time in the third dimension. So I'm not I'm not necessarily convinced that it means that it's directly related to November, but it's maybe it is. But certainly the word, that's the word that came. So Sweet CC is saying she cleans houses and has been feeling the need to clean up the extra candles and glasses of wine happening often now. Interesting. And had to take extra sulfur MSM flakes. It helps her to ease the energy surges that irritate her bladder meridian. Okay. Yes. So actually, that is interesting, because there's been that energy of being peeved, of that energy being in the urinary tract, in the pelvic area, that pissed off energy has been coming up a bit with clients as well probably in the last week. So it's interesting how these things all synchronize. But yeah, that's what I wanted to bring you today, to look out for the time jumps and time sinks, because they've, this loss of time in our three-dimensional construct is often this movement through. And so we've got these really big energies coming to the earth, and we're having to learn how to navigate, how to negotiate with them, in all of our bodies, in our physical, emotional, mental bodies, as well as the energetic. But there's a lot going on that lands directly into the physical body of the earth, and into our own physical bodies. And here goes. So here's a tip from Sweet CC. She said that sulfur really helps. A teaspoon of flakes, drink with water, helps almost immediately. Thank you. Yeah, so there's all of this links into this purpose, right? Why are we here? What are we here to do? What is our deepest desire? What is our soul saying? And so our soul is, in a way, becoming more persuasive, and that's for everybody. So it's this coming home to self. It's this recognition that this is where I am pulled to go. This is where I am. Yeah, my heart is really, really pulling me to do this thing, to take this action, to move in this direction. And this is going to be the time when we really see the impact of that in the collective. And it may or may not have, it might be more built in its frequency, in its in your world than it is in mine yet, I have to say. But I feel I'm noticing it. So I'm noticing people coming to me saying that things have collapsed. I'm noticing, and it's how I'm reading the collective energy, but it's showing up as people feeling to change jobs or losing their jobs. It's showing up as people feeling to shift house, feeling to move relationships, feeling to exit situations, wanting some guidance about how to navigate the uncertain. So this is really strongly showing up in the physical world of the collective. And the other thing that's come very strongly in my clients is grief and loss, and that's a pattern that a lot of people are amid at the moment, is experiencing grief. And so it's this notion always, really, that we are wounded, or we create, or we set up some kind of arrangement, and at a soul level, to have a wounding that relates to a particular thing, or we're wounded in a particular way, and then we're given opportunity to heal it. And that often it takes quite a lot of extra wounding before it becomes big enough for us to notice it. And so we might experience the same things again and again. It's like having a little sore on your arm, and then picking off the scab, and then it might get bigger, and so it gets it can keep getting bigger. That's the physical way of thinking about the emotional wounding in the body, is like that. And so you then put a plaster on it, which is just a temporary measure, right? And so if you don't attend to the actual wound, so if you think about that being the metaphor for an emotional wound, it gets bigger and it gets bigger and bigger until you have to attend to it. And so this is our bodies are quite miraculous, the way that they set themselves up. So this, to me, is showing up for a lot of people in the area of grief, and so deep tears. Okay, Billy. Hi, Billy. The energy is interesting. My eldest is off. He seems to be uncomfortable in the body, and we are all cold. Although where we are, North Auckland, we have dense fog that still hasn't lifted. It's very eerie. Interesting. Yeah, well, I can see the fog now, but when I went walking early this morning, the fog wasn't around. So that's interesting. And I am in the north of Auckland as well. So yeah, so we're in this very interesting time, and there's this sense of, making sure that you're well grounded and well nutriented, and to be following your guidance. And I want to say that for a lot of us, there's a lot of holding the energetic for the collective to assist them. And now Carolyn's saying, breakdown due to her and her divine masculine not seeing eye to eye. Okay, so listen to this, everyone. Him seeing 3D, me seeing higher. Our brain connects to the body through the 3D. So this, I'll just write something in here so I can see. That means nothing, what I just wrote there. So this is change that's happened. The third eye connection for the DM, lots of grief came up through the third eye. Perfect. So yeah, the third eye opening, the psychic announcement, really a lot of people sort of foraying into this higher level of their psychic abilities. And yeah, the third eye it has that function where it takes us into the more unknown, into the deeper unconscious. Sweet CC is saying, oh my God, my friend burned his finger a couple of hours ago. I sent him Louise Hay info on that wound, subconscious meaning. He didn't understand, but I witnessed it the same as you explained. In terms of which part, Sweet CC, I'll be intrigued to hear the answer to that. But yeah, what I am feeling is that there's this collective wobble, and maybe that's what I'm feeling attuned to, that the wounds are coming up to be seen. Yes, perfect. Yes, because how can we attend to something if we don't see it? But it's like coming up to kind of, so that slap you in your face. You can't ignore it. That's what I would say about what's coming up now. It cannot be ignored, and so it can be skirted around, it can be circumnavigated, and some people definitely do that with a bit of procrastination, but it can't be ignored anymore. So there's a couple of other things that I wanted to reference, and that is that although I still don't know the timing, I'm not saying that, but I'm sure you can see, tell, feel that we are moving closer to this ascension experience. And a long time ago, you may have heard me speak about Gaia talking about the days of darkness, and that's what may happen. And she always talks about it being 3, 10 or 14 days, and how that might come is still negotiable in terms of the darkness may come. Well, the darkness will come through some kind of solar emission. It will create darkness. But whether that darkness is a lack of sunlight, or whether that darkness is lack of internet or lack of power, that's what I still don't know. But that was something that was said, I think, in 2018, 17, 18, that she first spoke to me about that. And it's like we're building to that. Oh, I get pretty emotional in my body when I say that. It's like we're building to that. Like we've been building to this for years, and I haven't felt like this. But there's this real sense of being on the edge of this. And this isn't anything to worry about. And I think I saw something this morning, actually. I haven't read it, but I think I saw something this morning, a little headline that flashed past somewhere about an emission that's come off the sun today that's bigger than what we've heard or felt before. So I must go and look that up. But yeah, there's this real sense that here we are as the awakened conscious collective holding space for the other people to be. So I'll tell you the imagery that I'm being shown right now is, imagine the collective conscious community around the world holding hands around a blowhole or a volcano, and the rest of humanity is being spat out of the volcano. And I don't mean that in a violent way, but if you imagine that the energy that's being emitted is pushing people upwards to come into the higher, and the awakened conscious community is holding space for them to be held safely, to land safely. And a burn is deep and it weeps and cries. The wounds are coming up to be seen. Yes, thank you. Yes. Sorry, I'm taking a moment to take that in. Yes, exactly, precisely. So even if they cannot understand it, the healing is happening. Yes, yeah, and it's I certainly am witnessing the men in our world, and yeah, I want to say that we can, as the divine feminine, hold the men in our world very tenderly at the moment, because life is perhaps pushing them more than it is us, because they are really leaving their old world. Everybody is leaving the old world, but the masculine, it's very aligned to their way of being. And so this is sort of crumbling under their feet, and they're already feeling the emotions. That's all coming clear to them, and yeah, their psychic vision coming on, or their psychic gifting coming on. Some will be hearing things, and many will be feeling things, but it's quick. So remember, we've been talking about that for ages, about how the divine feminine, for example, or the leading edge of the awakened community, has been doing this awakening over time. The divine masculine and as the leaders of the collective awakening, they are doing this very, very quickly. It's pretty incredible the speed at which this is all happening or occurring or about to occur. And so it's massive, massive change, but there's this huge sense of the soul having this loud voice at the moment, this huge pull to come into alignment, be where you're meant to be who you really truly are, this pulling home to self, this coming to this greater authenticity. And it's like a great yearning, I want to say. Talofa, Caroline. Okay, in here, honestly, there's always so much wisdom that comes here in the chat. Carolyn, sorry, wasn't clear. 2 hemisphere of the brain connects to our physical body through the third eye. I've been getting messages about crossover. Yes, that's right. So the crossover through the left-right brain, that is all part of the hemispheres coming into balance. So the left brain is all about logic and structure and sequential, step by step. This adds up to that. The right brain is the creative, the flow, the being with what is, the more feminine aspects of the brain. And then, yeah, the more that we sort of do crossover, like I once was blessed to teach the special ed classes for a few years, and they were just a part of my program, so they would come to me and I'd do creative work with them. But we would always begin with doing brain gym, and the crossover in terms of brain gym is all about that, to create links between the left and right hemispheres. Okay, Sweet CC is responding to Carolyn saying, I'm seeing that in my field. I saw a huge bowl of half a cauliflower, half broccoli, and it was a brain image crossing over big time. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, so that's what I'm reading that the masculine are really doing at the moment. They are coming into this balance, and the feminine aspect of self, so that's the brain, the emotional body, is having a greater say. But it's also that the soul is reminding each of us of who we are, our absolute authentic selves. Who is that? And to be in greater love with that. And yeah, to quote Helen Barnes, what would love do here? If you don't know what to do, ask that question. What would love do? What would love say? How would love act here? Hello, Charlotte. So Charlotte's just finished her BioFoot spa treatment. So I wanted to do to ask you if we could hold space for Lottie and hold space for Larissa, who are both experiencing healing or in a healing process at the moment, and they are regularly here on the channel. And so I just invite us to do that and to place anybody else in. But I just imagine that everyone on this channel and all of our connections are holding hands in this circle, circumnavigating the globe. And close your eyes and take a breath in through the nose and deep in the body, feeling the expansion in the heart. And just invite that breath to meander through your own body, to take up space, to bring reassurance, and to let anything on the out breath that isn't required to leave the body through the mouth. And then on a second breath, feel the openness that you just created, and fill that with this breath. This breath that is filled with these codes, these higher codes that are coming in to help us become more aligned and higher in our way of being and in our consciousness. That it's expanding our heart space, our ability to love. And then breathe out. And feeling the shift in your body as you come into greater love. And on the out breath, pouring that into the center of the circle where we are holding those who are here, a part of the channel, linked to the members of this channel in the center. We invite them to be open to receiving this love that is imbued with healing codes for their regeneration and healing. For it to be perfect, in perfect alignment and perfect timing, under speed if possible, with grace, with ease. And just notice that you're now in this energetic, where there's energy coming in through your crown and out through your heart, and then into the center. You're creating this loop, this cycle of healing love energy that is so high in its frequency. And you're just looping it through and push a bit down through your own body, down into the ground, and looping it through your crown and out your heart and into the center of this circle to bring healing to anybody who's placed themselves there now or later, so they can receive this gift of healing, this gift of love, this beautiful moment of creation. As we know that each of us are now coming into greater balance of our divine feminine and divine masculine through the brain, through the heart, through the body, through the emotional body, is bringing strength to our community and to that of the world, and is able to bring healing to one another through the gift of love. So just notice that your connection to the earth is strengthening, that you are now able to be more grounded and yet more connected to the higher, that your gifts are coming on board in a bigger way, that you're coming into your greatest alignment, your highest connection, your expanded love, healed and whole. And so it is. And so it is done. And so it is. So just take a breath. Feel the energy of that. Itia kana shityo to anatata. Iatia na na na. Iana shoyara kana hiara. Ia so so na na na. Hiara na na na. Ia ho. Ia shoy shoya na 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 hi. Harahosi Hiashakiaranahi Otakanashia Toyanana Yara Yara Yashishana. Take a breath. And open your eyes. Bring yourself back to the space. And I'll read Carolyn's comment because it's really good information. She is saying, as we align, it brings through finances to build new, and financial systems are supposed to break down this week. The spell will be broken around chasing money. Wow, thank you. That makes perfect sense to me. I have, I was speaking to a friend, actually two friends in the last couple of days about that it's time that started to show up in the physical world. It's and then actually to somebody to my trainer at the gym this morning, and I said to her, well, the whole sort of the fiscal arrangements in the US have fallen over, so we're likely to begin to see the effects coming in here. And yeah, so that was this morning. I made that comment in the physical to somebody, and then to two spiritually aligned and attuned sisters yesterday and the day before that this is the time when this is going to show up. So there's a lot of scrambling going on from institutions at the moment around that as well. Okay, so this I want to just reread that, because this the spell will be broken around chasing money. This is all part of the destabilizing. That's the effect. It will bring freedom. It will bring freedom, but it will feel wobbly. People are feeling challenged to meet their financial commitments at the moment, but it feels to me like it's just this pause, this, like it's poised to do that. And I am feeling really cold now, but I don't. It's the energy. Okay, so sorry, distracted. But I'm really, excuse me, I'm going to turn my heat on. I'm feeling that cold. Okay, so let's see what other wisdoms we've got being shared here. Thank you so much, all you beautiful people who come. Carolyn's saying her daughter's best friend is having wicked, not so nice dreams, and it's with friends she knows are in them of killing or wanting to. She says they are vivid, and she's only 19. So I was in connection with someone else on the weekend who is actually she has been somebody who's been a spiritual teacher as well, and she was invited to the same meditation that I was invited to, and she was dealing with an entity that had attached itself to one of her family members, and she had to, she called in what I think she said she called in Almoya to help, but this entity was had attached itself in through the field. So what I want to tell you is that we are likely to see more of this, and the reason that we are likely to see more of it is because they are the dark, the demonic, the satanic, any of that's left here now is what you could say on scramble. They are scrambling because their time, and they know it, is coming to an end. So you will have heard me say, because I've said it lots of times, I'm sure, they cannot exist beyond the fourth dimension. And so this is going to be ramped up as they're scrambling to lower the frequency, because the frequency is increasing, and we're moving into greater connection to fifth dimensional frequency in our world. And when we have this ascension moment, this movement through the galaxy, as Gaia describes it, this shunt back into our original position, where we're our designated place in the galaxy. In that fifth dimensional movement, when the planet becomes fifth dimensional, they will cease to exist, or cease to be able to exist on the planet. So they will either come to their demise, or they will exit the planet, but they won't be a part of our experience. So all of that. Okay, so let's see. It's odd we're all named Caroline here. Even the name Charlotte has basis with the name Caroline. Charles etymology. Not all, but a big slice of Caroline. Care line. Oh, beautiful. I sense the new system, Sweet CC says. Charlotte saying that's fantastic news. The new system comes in as the actual food, clothes, things one desires of or needs coming to them, and not through money. Yeah, because that's the training, isn't it? So the training, the programming of the mind is to want money and to be seeking money instead of naming the requirement. And that's a good noticing, that shift of desire to not need the transactional thing that goes in the middle. I've got so much energy running through me, and it still is that nervous energy. It's so interesting. Billy, where we are on 2 ley lines, which we recently had cleared, we had so much disruption in and around our home. Okay, that makes sense. So would you say that disruption comes from the sort of the ground, from the strata underneath? Oh, you're welcome, Caroline. That was yeah, Billy, that's right. Let's see. The training of the mind. Yeah, it's the training. It's training of the mind that then becomes the training of the thoughts, that then becomes the training of the speech, that then becomes the training of what's being put into the ethers, and then that comes back. And when, like when I've had people in my clinic, and I am talking to them about their qualities, and some of them I'm talking to them about their manifestation abilities, and speaking to them about the refinement of that. They can be people who are great manifestors. They can be so specific. They can be, and I think this is the art of manifestation that many of us are still to master. But I remember I had this woman in my clinic, and I said to her, so for example, this is actually showing my ability, which is a different ability, but I said to her, for example, if you wanted to have a sports car, you wouldn't just be calling in a sports car, you'd be calling in a red, and I don't know what I said, a red 2-seater, whatever. I don't know, let's call it a Lexus or something, or MG, whatever. But I gave a specific name. I don't remember what it was, with a number plate with whatever. And I had letters that I gave to her for the number plate. You could be that specific and you'd get it. And she gave me this filthy look. And at the end of the session, I said to her, when I talked about that car, why did you give me such a filthy look? And she said, because I just bought that car. And even down to the letters on the number plate, I described her car. But, she is a manifester. And so even though I tuned into something she'd already manifested, this is how specific people who are great at manifesting can become. And so what Sweet CC is talking about is that idea that it's calling in the object, not the means to purchase the object. And so as we become masterful and in flow with this, and as the old lifts and leaves around the way in which money is managed and looped, and there's this sort of harvesting of the money and the energy of the money. There's so many parts to it, but it's the harvesting of the money in terms of, for every dollar that there is, the people who are lending the money are getting that back, 10 times or 400 times or whatever. And then the people who are needing to service their debt in terms of their car purchase or their house purchase or whatever it is that's going on for them, they are being harvested for the fear, for the pressure, for what comes around that. So you think about even the removal of the energetics around this whole system of money lending and money pressure is going to allow this expansion on the planet. So it's very cool to think that we are in the physical aspect of this, receiving this. And oh yes, and yes, thank you, Carolyn. That's I'll speak that out. I'll just see where I've got to. Back to the ley lines. So to what I saw last week was kind of like the notions that the ley lines. So I had seen that the ley lines were coming back into their original templating a while ago, but what I did see last week was interesting, and I can't even really, it's not even easy to define, and I don't think I've spoken about it, but I have written about it. I've got a lot of notes that I haven't got around to sharing. But I was watching the ley lines as though they were dipping into the earth, as though they were being submerged. And I think that some of that was part of our coming into a new stability. It was like that some of it was being, some of the ley lines were cleared and so able to sit where they were supposed to be. And some of them were still in a lower timeline or in the mud or in murkiness. And so this is, it's like this recalibration, for me anyway, this is the most tangible recalibration that I have felt in my body. Like my whole body is internally, doing this. Okay, so this thing that Carolyn is saying is something that a friend of mine, Carol, speaks of. True abundance is our inner gold, our heart of gold that attracts everything we need. And see, that aligns with this Christed light, this Christ align, this crystalline that show. Have I spoken about what I call the spinal infusion that we are going through? Can somebody tell me, have I spoken about that? This spinal infusion. I'll talk about it anyway, I guess. But that's how it's showing up to me, that we are amid a spinal infusion, and that spinal infusion is this golden light, this crystalline light, this Christed light, this light that is filled with codes to reactivate our DNA, to bring us back to Christ consciousness. And so this Christ consciousness is not delineated to Christianity, but to it could be to the lineage of Christ, but it relates to the lineage of Christ consciousness, which permeates through all of the sort of religious leaders really who have come to the earth, as Muhammad and as the Buddha, and so this is when we get down to the real essence of us. Is what Carolyn's speaking about, this gold, that it's our innate right, our heart of gold. So this is our right as innate beings on the planet to be supplied, to be furbished, and so we're returning to this. Okay, I'll just finish reading the chat and then we'll close. Billy, decision to move too much. It's been cleared and seen improvements, but time to find their new lighter space. In Warkworth, recently found land known as Tapu. Told there's so much going on, couldn't believe that they were still living here. The eldest didn't want to because of what was happening. And so been recently offered a beautiful space further north, so it's time for us to move. Good, that's fantastic. So tapu in terms of Māori means that it's a space that's designated to be kind of not touched as sacred, and often it's because of death or passing or an accident or something like that. And so it often holds a lot of spirit, I guess, wairua. So in a lot of different ways, sometimes not so good, but definitely holds the energy of that. So Thank you, sweet CC. She's just saying blessings to Billy and to your whole family, and what a relief for your children. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, thank you. Aho, aho. Primordial consciousness, the alignment of everything back in main order as discussed Friday. Golden order. Yeah. So this is right. This is our coming back to the original divine creation, to those the waters of consciousness. Remember, they started coming in, and this is what we are back to now. This enlivening throughout all of the strata. So even the blades of grass, they are enlivening. Christ as life, so interchange the words life, consciousness. Yes, Antichrist is anti-life, etc. Yes, good, wonderful. All right, so I thank you all for joining me here, and I thank you for the beautiful beings that you are, in the way that you hold space here for me and for others, and the way that we collectively can hold space. It's I want to say it's huge. It's huge what we collectively hold space for. Enlivening. Yeah, that was a word that came through from Gaia. I can't remember when, but sometime this year. And yeah, that's what she is calling this. Our returning to this original consciousness is enlivening. So we have been going through this experience of enlivening from the tiniest creature on the earth to the largest, and from the macrobiotic right through to the higher. Oh, happy birthday to your husband, Caroline. Happy birthday. And she knows he's changing. Yeah, so let's hold space for these beautiful masculine who are changing. They're really coming. I want to say that if I was to describe it as a feeling, it's the coming into this warmth in their heart. It's really beautiful to witness and to feel. Yeah. All right. Catch you again next time. Enjoy the day. Go gently with yourselves. It's a massive recalibration that we're experiencing, and it is so that we can more permanently reside in this higher dimensional consciousness, and it is so that can impact the rest of awakening. Interesting that Gaia told me that, and don't quote me on any of this data, but I don't often get given data, but Gaia told me that we need 30% of awakened and conscious humanity. That's the tipping point for ascension. And when I told one of my sisters that, she said, so where are we at now? And I said, oh, that's a really good question. And I heard 19. So that was yesterday. She asked me that. And so we're at 19%. And she said, oh, that doesn't seem very much. And I said, no, but think about, we're in this exponential time. Things are going very quickly and exponentially. So that's pretty close. I don't know what the timing is for that, but I think that's pretty exciting. Dora's 18 tomorrow. Body vibrating today. Yeah, that's good. It's not just me. Thank God, ready to move to lighter space. Yeah, exactly. And Carolyn's saying 33% sounds right to her. Yeah, so we are definitely building to that, and quite rapidly and quite quickly, and all of this will create discombobulation in the collective, but it will all be so they can come into their higher alignment, and it will all be in divine perfection, of course. But yeah, it's we're building, we know it, we can feel it. All right, much love everyone. See you next time.